Hello YouTubers, welcome to my channel. I'm going to be talking with you today um, about the recent match between Naomi Osaka and Belinda Bencic. Belinda Bencic, oh my goodness, she has come back to the form she was once in around 2013, 14, 15. That form, the form that saw her be able to compete with Serena Williams in Cincinnati. I can't think of the exact year now, but there was a couple of years she was actually able to really, compete with her then. Um, but she's come back into that form. She's another great player from Switzerland. She just had good results at the Fed Cup with Roger Federer. Um, Let me check that actually. I can't find it now. But anyway, she had good results with Roger Federer there. Um, and she's just an all-around great player. She's just come off of a win in Dubai, winning the championships against Petra Kvitova, who had just come off of an Australian Open finalist finish. So she's really playing great now. The question comes in, can she win Indian Wells? Yes, it's possible. She wasn't really originally in my top five in the beginning, but it's possible. But it doesn't come without challenges. I'll say it that way. But it is possible. She starts to come up against players like Kerber. She's playing Carolina Pliskova next. I'll do a preview on that because that's a very good matchup there. She has to go through players like Pliskova, possibly not. She just defeated Naomi Osaka. I was just about to say Naomi Osaka, but anyway, players like Carolina Pliskova, Gabriel Muguruza, Angelique Kerber. I must say though that she is a huge threat now, just like Venus Williams became a threat when she stunned Kvitova in that upset. So this is a major upset to knock out the #1 ranked player in the world and the #1 seed at Indian Wells, who was the defending champion. That is a major upset, and also to complete that task in straight sets. Oh my goodness. So there's no question she's a threat now. There's so many question marks on Naomi Osaka, what her future holds. She did kind of disrupt the normal routine of what's been occurring when the new up-and-coming players win slams, or I would say players are winning their maiden slams and not being able to follow up those results. And that happened to both Simona Halep and Sloane Stephens. When Sloane Stephens won the 2017 US Open, she fell in the early rounds of several tournaments, I think at least 5 to 7. The same thing with Simona Halep when she finally broke through and won the French Open after trying 4 times in 4 finals, 3 French Open finals and 1 Australian Open final. She struggled after and recently lost the #1 ranking, which she had held on to for nearly a year. So so many people have struggled. So when Naomi Osaka won back-to-back Grand Slam titles, which hadn't been done since Serena Williams and Jennifer Capriati in terms of being the youngest, it was like, wow, and people now expects her to win every tournament like Serena was doing. I don't take anything away from her winning those back-to-back slams, but that doesn't make her Serena, because she has won Indian Wells and she's won 2 slams back-to-back. It does make her a threat. It does make her a top contender to win tournaments, and a player to not take for granted. So obviously, she's instilled some fear in the other players in the field in that regard. Um, but it's shown that she has struggled a bit, to deal with all the media. I don't think the coach change was smart at all. I don't think that was a wise move. I think it would have been better if she would have waited the end of the season, been able to get through whatever little emotion she has, because supposedly there's people saying that it's because he was talking behind her back and saying things she didn't want to be said, and all those things could have been worked out. Whatever was going on between their or in their partnership, they were able to win, and that's the most important thing, is to win. I understand she says happiness is more important to her than winning, and she should have her happiness, but that happiness is not something that other people control. That's within yourself. So he may have triggered certain things in her that feelings of unhappiness or things that she doesn't like, but she has to find her own happiness within, and she can't allow other people to control that. And it's nothing wrong with her getting rid, sacking or firing the coach that she's not comfortable with, because she pays the coach. He's paid for his traveling. He's paid for by her, so she should feel comfortable with whoever she's with. So that's her choice, but I think it has shown up in her results. She struggled in Dubai out in the first round. She struggled here in the fourth round. There's question marks on how she'll fare in the how do I say, French Open. She's I think she went out in the third round to Madison Keys, who was a semifinalist, losing to Sloane Stephens, which is a whole nother conversation. But anyway, I just want to highlight some of the match statistics, because people may have questions. Why did Naomi Osaka lose to Belinda Bencic? And it comes down to how she played. Belinda Bencic did outplay her, but at the same time, she wasn't really in her top form, and some of the stats point to why she lost. Sometimes there's matches and the stats are so close and so even, and sometimes even the loser has more winners than the person who actually prevailed in the match. And so sometimes you think the stats don't really match up with, why the person lost. But in this case, the stats do match up with why Naomi Osaka lost. Belinda Bencic had a few more aces than her. She had 4 aces. Naomi Osaka had 1. Also, they both each had double faults, but it's not really normal for Naomi Osaka to double fault in matches, but they each had 3 of those. Belinda Bencic won more, or actually her first serve percentage was higher. Her first serve percentage was 65%, whereas Naomi Osaka's was only 57%. So that makes a difference there. Also, the percentage of first serve points won was much higher on Belinda Bencic's side, 82% versus 50% on Naomi Osaka's side. So that's a no-brainer there. Anyone that looks at these statistics knows someone winning 82% of the first serves versus someone winning 50% of the first serves makes a big difference. And then with regards to the second serve percentage, Belinda Bencic was winning 60% versus 48% of her second serve. Also, Belinda Bencic won 5 break points versus Naomi Osaka's 1 break point. And overall, Belinda Bencic had 60 points won versus Naomi Osaka's 38 points won. and 12 games won versus Naomi Osaka's 4 games won. Um, so the stats kind of lay out the basis for why Naomi Osaka lost. 32 service points won by Belinda Bencic versus 24 points won by Naomi Osaka. So this is actually a time where we can look directly at the match statistics and see why Naomi Osaka came up short. As I've told you before, Naomi Osaka is a great all-around player. Um, I still don't think her serve is as lethal as it could be. I think she's worked on her serve a lot, and she's definitely one of the players that, you know, can ace, provide a great amount of aces when needed and get herself out of trouble like Serena has done when needed. At the same time, I think she could improve on her serve, because when you have a great serve, you can pick up 3 points off your serve. And that's something that's helped Serena Williams. But I don't know if you can really say it's anything she's doing wrong. It's just, I think maybe it's some personal choices she's made that's affected her gameplay. But I will say she did come out strong, so there was nothing that indicated that she wouldn't make it further necessarily. But as I said in the when I made my predictions for my top 5 on both the men and women's side of the draw, I did say that that it was going to be hard for Naomi Osaka to defend her title, and I did also say that I questioned whether she would make it, you know, past the quarters. I said she could possibly make it to the quarters or semi, but I questioned if she would even make it, you know, to the quarters because of the players in the draw. So if you look back at that video, I challenge all of you to look back at that video when I made my top 5 predictions, and that would have been the Indian Wells predictions video. And if you see right there, I predicted this happen, you know, coming to fruition. So so she's out. Belinda Bencic is facing Carolina Pliskova next, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. And I'll do a preview on that video. But Naomi Osaka definitely has to go back to the drawing board, because, you know, clay hasn't proven to be one of her best surfaces in the past. And the French Open's coming up, and if she wants to be a contender there to make it past the 4th round of the quarterfinals, she's going to have to tweak something in her game. The clay may complement her game in that it will give her more time to set up some of her shots, and she does have some pretty lethal shots. But we shall see what's next to come for Naomi Osaka. But it's definitely a huge upset. I would say one of the biggest upsets of the tournament. So at any rate, I'll sign off now, and stay tuned for the next video. Bye-bye.